Welcome to The Other Side, Mississippi Today's political podcast. I'm your host, Adam Ganishow. The Other Side lets you hear directly from the most connected players and observers across the spectrum of politics in Mississippi. From breaking news to political strategy to interviews with candidates and elected officials, we'll bring you facts, perspectives, and context that helps you cut through the noise and understand all sides of the story.
Welcome to The Other Side, Mississippi Today's political podcast. I'm Bobby Harrison. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Geoff Pender. Geoff, how you doing?
Hey, Bobby.
Geoff, we have a treat today. We have former State House member Steve Holland. He's going to join us to talk about upcoming documentary. Steve, how you doing, sir?
Well, good morning, Geoff and Bobby. I'm doing swell, and I'm glad to be with you guys. Y'all are two of my favorites.
I appreciate
Good morning, sir.
Steve, of course, as I think most of our listeners know, was a longtime State House member, a institution in Lee County, funeral home director, sort of a Southern folk artist in terms of just his personality, if nothing else.
A shy retiring sort of fellow, as I recall.
Yeah, that's Steve. Representative Holland, we asked you today to talk primarily about an upcoming Netflix documentary that you're involved in. It covers an event that made national news back in, what did you say it was, 2013, Geoff? You looked it up.
October of 2013. Well, April of 2013, I believe it was. Yeah.
But it was involved mailing of poison substance to your mother, who was a Justice Court judge in Lee County, and U.S. Senator Roger Wicker, who's a Tupelo native, and then President Barack Obama. And it was just that in itself seems, very unusual and very strange set of circumstances to pick out those three individuals. But then after that first reported, then it got real crazy.
It got weirder and weirder.
Yeah, it did.
And weirder.
It got real crazy. Correct. Absolutely.
So,
well,
go ahead,
Bobby. It's about the most interesting true story I've ever heard tell. It started actually before April of 2013. I got a phone call at the state capitol building. Gosh, I'm going to say 20 to 22 years ago. The guy did not identify himself, and I just picked up the phone and answered my own phone, and this guy said, well, you just might as well face up. You're guilty. I have circumstantial evidence that you are in collusion with the North Mississippi Medical Center in Tupelo selling body parts, you being the undertaker. And I didn't even respond hardly. It sort of, for 2 seconds, took my breath and going, now, boy, this is a new bizarre twist on life. And I said, sir, I've got a mental hospital in Tupelo just open, name for me, and I'll be glad to give you the room that I'm going to get in the future because you need mental health care. This is not true, and you need to get off this. Don't call me anymore. And so that's the first involvement with a guy named Kevin Curtis, who was first implicated in the ricin sending to my mother, President Obama, and Senator Roger Wicker. So that's how far back it goes, and that's part of my involvement in the situation. Dusky and Curtis ultimately became friends, and then ultimately became arch enemies of each other. He was into conspiracy theories, and so was Dusky.
Now, before you keep it going, Steve, we need to introduce what is it, Everett Dusky?
James Everett Dusky.
Introduce him into the story.
Okay. Well,
and then we're going to jump ahead to the Netflix documentary itself.
Okay. All right.
And Curtis, we should note, was a noted Elvis impersonator.
That's right.
Or maybe not noted, but
I think he was pretty good. I've seen video.
Yeah. Kevin Curtis was the first person we need to introduce. Kevin has a brother named Jack, who is a renowned insurance man in Tupelo, and our local Elvis tribute artist of renown. Kevin Curtis made music, and then when he started this rumor or this conspiracy that I was in collusion with a medical center selling body parts, he was a custodian there at the hospital and allegedly got into the morgue and saw stuff and went on his merry trail of lies and so forth. James Everett Dusky was a Taekwondo instructor in Tupelo. I do not remember when he came to Tupelo. I think he was an Indiana native and moved here and married a very nice lady here. And he entered my life in 2007 as the Republican opponent in my reelection bid that year. And of course, he just literally trashed me at every step of the way. And as best I remember, he being the Republican nominee, me being the Democratic nominee, I think I beat him somewhere around 80-20, maybe 85-15. I don't remember. He just didn't scratch, but he photoshopped all these things and just was not kind at all. I never even acknowledged that he was alive, and so I won one more of my 9 terms that I served in the state legislature. So the incident started happening, and ultimately a film company out of Hollywood, Kurt Russell's 2 nephews owned the company, Chapman and Mac Way. Their mother's a sister to Kurt Russell, the actor, famed actor, Goldie Hawn. And they heard of the story and took it, and they made one heck of a 3-hour documentary about the story. So it airs on Netflix Wednesday, December the 11th, so a couple of days away.
Have you seen it?
No, I have not seen it. I've not seen anything but the trailer. I really don't know much about it.
Well, I mean,
in the sense that I did about probably somewhere around 80 hours of filming myself over the course of 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And the film crew were all, of course, Californians pretty much, are based in LA area. They came down, and I don't think they realized when they came here that it was going to be this kind of story, because it was represented to me pretty early on that it would be a 1-hour documentary. And I said to them then, I'll be surprised if you can get this story told in 1 hour, but maybe you can, because
It's actually going to be a 3-part series, correct?
That's right. A 3-part series. You can watch it consecutively, or you can watch an hour at a time, catch it whenever you want to, second, third time. So they say, they being the producers, that it's the buzz of Hollywood right now. Certainly it's created a lot of attention here in the greater Tupelo, northeast Mississippi area, and everywhere. The day they released the trailer, which was a couple of Mondays ago, I literally got 736 texts that day. Well, you guys covered me in the legislature for many, 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 many years. I don't even know how to run a computer. Never have tried to learn, don't want to learn, can't even hardly run my cell phone. So I was hearing from people that I hadn't heard from since college days, which it's like 45, 6 years ago. And it's just getting wide acclaim now. I hope it portrays the story properly. I had a lot of faith in the Way boys, the producers. They were about as hospitable people as I've ever seen. And they've done 7 documentaries for Netflix to date, and 1 winning an Emmy. And they say this one is the granddaddy of all of them, that they just have never been able to have a story quite like this and then weave it into a 3-hour documentary. So we'll see. I just hope they don't portray Mississippians as a bunch of lunatics, but by God, we got some. Let's just call it what it is.
This story just has it all. An Elvis impersonator versus a karate instructor, a fight over Mensa membership, the assassination of an elephant that may or may not be involved.
Well, the elephant was shot. He wasn't assassinated.
Yeah, it's got all the pathos any movie ever produced in Hollywood could have, and it's a real thing. It happened.
So
it's not just somebody out on peyote or something making a story up. All this stuff happened,
So they spent a lot of time at your farm interviewing you. Is that?
they spent a lot of time at the farm, socializing as much as anything, but filming as well, and literally all over North Mississippi, and even the capital at Jackson. And I don't know. They just spent 2 years making this documentary,
Wow.
and they love Mississippi. They not one of the crew. I think it was about an 8-member crew. Mike nor Chapman had ever been to Mississippi, and they absolutely fell in love with the people here. And we did a good job entertaining them while they were here, and they met so many characters. They even just roamed the streets of Boonville, Tupelo, other towns, just on the street, mentioning the story and getting a take on it from other people. So it's going to be a pretty broad perspective, I think, of how people feel about this. And I can tell you, now, I've been involved in a lot of stuff in my lifetime, but I don't believe I've ever seen anything catch this kind of attention. I really don't. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, the trailer is just so entertaining in itself, and I probably won't do it justice, but it starts out, excuse me, with I guess it was that Curtis just saying Everett Dusky, and then there's somebody else says Dusky, and then
Right.
it just as only you can
It
do.
unfolds from there, yeah.
Yeah, so tell me when somebody says Dusky, all of a sudden it shows you on the camera, and what do you say?
Well, they were going through 4 or 5 gyrations of saying Dusky, Dusky. And ultimately at the end of that gyration, I said, well, we just called him douchebag. Which is pretty appropriate. God bless him.
I know there's no way we could do it justice, but I think we are going to have to outline a little more of this story for
I was thinking
those who may not
Yeah.
not know about it. To start, as you said, Curtis met Dutski. They were friends at first, but then
And
they
then
had a falling
turned
out.
into
Is that where
mortal enemies? Yeah. Well, I don't know what their business was. I never. I knew who Dusky was, especially after the campaign of 2007. I did not know much about. As a matter of fact, I've only met Kevin Curtis once, eyeball to eyeball. So, and that was at a production that the production company did in Tupelo called Double Trouble, which featured Jack Curtis and Kevin Curtis, his brother, at the old historic Lyric Theater in Tupelo. And boy, it was very entertaining. They're both unbelievable musicians, but they did an Elvis tribute series, and I met him there. So it started that way, and then the ricin incident happened, which made international news literally for a week. I mean, it's one thing to send ricin to my wonderful, sweet little 80-plus-year-old mother at the time, and she intercepted and answered all of her mail, wrote it in hand as a judge for 20 years, I believe it was. And so she opened the letter and sniffed it and said she did what any country woman would do. She gave it the smell test, and it smelled like dung to her. And she just laid it on her desk, and her clerk came in and said, what's that in that envelope? And she called the sheriff, Jim Johnson, our sheriff in Lee County, and of course he automatically, and then lo and behold, suddenly it lands in D.C. too as well, and then it became a big deal.
You had the FBI and Curtis.
Oh my gosh!
Curtis was
Go ahead.
Curtis was actually charged with the crime.
pretty
Yeah,
promptly.
Curtis
right?
was first charged with the crime.
Went through the
The
system.
events that led up to this was included a couple of charges also against Dusky for fondling and maybe indecent exposure. I can't remember exactly what the 2 charges were. Those were prior to 2013. And who knows what brought all this on? Who knows what this outbreak was? It has been represented to me that ultimately the separation between Curtis and Dusky was that the FBI found an email that said, I'd really like to kill Steve Holland, but it'll hurt him more if I kill his mother. But that did him in. So
That was an email from Dusky email.
To somebody. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not privy
Okay.
to all that. But anyway, things started unfolding after that, and then it was in federal court, and Dusky, even in the federal jail in Oxford, was trying to continue to stir up trouble, and even tried to make ricin again.
So Curtis got arrested initially for the poison letters.
Yes.
But then it turned out Dusky
Had
framed him,
Yeah,
basically. Isn't that the...
Yes, and I don't know what their feud was. That's my whole point. I guess I'll learn about that in the movie. I don't know, because I didn't interview anybody except the producers. With
Steve,
the producers, I didn't.
I read a takeout on this several years after the fact, but somebody did a pretty big takeout. And as I recall, it started because, number one, Dusky had a newsletter, and he refused to publish Curtis's body parts conspiracy. And then beyond that, Curtis had been going around claiming he was a member of Mensa, and
Right.
supposedly Dusky really was a member of Mensa, and he didn't like that. So
Right.
they even had a fist fight apparently at some point over that.
Well, that's information I don't know, but I'm going to accept your twist. It's not surprising to me at all. Both of these guys, quite frankly, just had some mental deficiencies that were bizarre. I mean,
Steve, I'll never forget back in 2013 when this first broke, I had to go into my editor's office and explain what we were hearing. I think he thought it was Stan Tyner. I think he thought I was making it up. And then I think I was on the phone with you, and you were kind enough to set me up, and I talked with your mom, I think, for the first time I'd ever talked with her.
Yeah. Mom didn't say much about this at all.
Yeah.
Number one, the FBI asked her not to.
Yeah.
And number two, I'm not slighting my mom's intellect, because she was a beautiful soul and broke the glass ceiling in so many areas for women across the state that it's unbelievable. But I don't think my mother ever, until her death, realized the magnitude of this.
Yeah.
It was just another day in court for her, And because I remember her telling me they sequestered her immediately after the sheriff contacted the FBI, and they called me and they said, "We're going to take your mother to an undisclosed location for medical evaluation and just make sure she's okay, and to ask her what she knows about this and try to build a case." And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what you'll probably do. About 2 hours after you take her wherever you're taking her, you'll be wanting to bring her back, because mother don't stay away from home. I mean, mother lived to be 90, and if she spent 10 days in her 90 years out of her home, I'd be surprised."
So,
And it happened like that. They took her to Baptist Hospital in Oxford, where she wound up. And the FBI called me about 7 o'clock on the morning after this incident happened and said, "Representative, we're trying to get your mother to go in a hospital." And I said, "You forget that. She hasn't been to a doctor in 50-something years. For even a physical, a pap smear, mammogram, nothing. She disdains the medical community. She treats herself. She's an old homiletic medicine woman." And I said, "Good luck." And finally, at 3 o'clock, they called and they said, "We give up. She's still in the back of the car. She sit there all day."
Are you serious?
And, yeah. And I finally said, have you mothers thought about going in and getting the phlebotomist to come out and draw blood? That's all you need, sounds like to me. They said, "Yeah, primarily so." And so she accepted that readily, but she wasn't going to go in a hospital.
But she, I mean, she didn't have any, as far as we know, she didn't have any ramifications.
No. She came out fine. I mean, she didn't ingest it. I don't know what she did. I was not there, but when, I don't know who told me this, but somebody in the course of the thing said that well, I guess it's the letter that mother got, or it may have been the letter that the president and Senator Wicker got, but they did the chemical research on the product, and he missed one ingredient. He made the ricin himself. He missed one ingredient that would have just killed Mother in 30 seconds.
Oh, Lord.
So thank God,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So what did the letter?
Bizarre story, guys.
Yeah. So what did the letter? I mean, I can't. Do you remember what the letter said? Were you, and were you in Jackson when you heard about it?
Bobby, I don't remember. I don't even remember what day it was. No, I was here. That was not in a.
Okay, it wasn't during the session.
No, I think I'd just gotten out of the session a week or two before when this happened, because it was in, so I think, late April of 2013 when it happened. So, no, I was at home because my phone started ringing pretty quickly thereafter. I don't know if the sheriff and the FBI released something to
The media.
the press, or if it was the 9/11 Commission in Washington or whatever. But I mean, it made news immediately, and of course, Mother was sequestered, so everybody started calling me to talk about it. And quite frankly, up front, I didn't have much to say to them because, except thank God my mother's okay. I didn't know the story. I really didn't know the story. So it has unfolded with me since then, and as the trial went through, I didn't what you call follow it, but I certainly observed, and it was still and 11 years ago, it just was almost the news of the year kind of thing, you know. So I would read all the accounts of it from everybody else, and that's how I know what I know, less what the FBI ultimately told me. So anyway, it's going to be a wing dinger.
I'm curious with both of you guys. Do y'all believe the elephant was related? The shooting of the elephant?
Let me tell you something more bizarre than that.
Okay.
My mother, now this is going to sound strange, but she had two pets. She didn't have dogs. She didn't have cats. She had two ducks. Mother's house sits right on the banks of the 7-acre lake that's on the Sadie J farm. And she had those ducks forever. I mean, she even brought them in the house. They were her pets, and they ate corn out of her hand, and da-da-da-da-da-da. She had them about 6 years. And when they called me and tell me they were bringing her back home, I hightailed it from work to home just to be there when she got there to make sure everything was fine. And somebody had killed the two ducks.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
And that hurt Mother more than anything in the world. I mean, she just, she was devastated by that. I don't know if it was related or not. I'm not saying that. I'm not getting into conspiracies. But by golly, her two ducks were gone.
Were they still there? Just
Yeah, they were on the property. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the elephant. There was an elephant, in town.
That happened just during that time, and I don't know what that connection is. I mean, I remember that part of it. I'm going, my God, how more incredibly bizarre can a year get?
Yeah, the trailer. Yeah, the trailer refers to the. I think it depicts. Shows a newscaster talking about the elephant was shot in Tupelo. But just for people's background, the circus was performing at the Coliseum there in Tupelo, and so of course they were there for.
That's correct.
3 days or 3 nights or something or other. And the elephant was just, they had, had the animals out back of the Coliseum, and there's a street that goes behind the Coliseum. And somebody drove by and shot. It didn't kill the elephant, but it was just a very mean. I mean, that was a mean thing to do, just to go shoot up.
Yes, it was a very mean thing to do.
Yeah, and,
a lot of this was mean.
Yeah, and so as people were reporting this whole ricin incident, I mean, they were also saying, well, also in Tupelo, some fool shot an elephant.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Mississippi is known for its characters, and we've got our share in Northeast Mississippi and in Lee County, but I do like to think those kind of people are in the vast minority. I mean, we've got some good learned people. Tupelo is a land flowing with milk and honey, and we've got great jobs and great per capita income here. But we have got people who are just out there in the next world. And that's just a fact of life, and there's no denying it. I mean,
I would put this case up against any Florida man case of tigers.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I mean,
think this could hold its own.
That's what the producers say. They're telling me that it's here's something else interesting about it. They had tried to set it where it would world premiere before it went on Netflix here in Tupelo, and they were planning on renting the Lyric Theater to have a production and do some kind of lottery, I think, to admit folks. Which I said, you don't have to ask me, but that'd be fine. They released the trailer 2 weeks ago on Monday, and Netflix they released the documentaries to Netflix 2 weeks ago on Monday, and the Netflix produced the trailer that afternoon and said at 2 a.m. on Tuesday, it's hitting the airwaves, and it did. And it's just been an explosion to the producers, to Hollywood, to Netflix ever since.
Well, there's going to be some of them.
I understand there are people doing podcasts and trashing me all around. I don't do social media. I'd live better without it. But people know this is about to happen.
Well, isn't there going to be some type of event in Tupelo?
Well, can you imagine how besieged I've been by people literally all over the country, but especially in Tupelo? 90% of it positive, 10% of it going, I hope it don't show Tupelo in a bad light. But everyone was wanting to get together a big event in Tupelo, and I sort of squashed that, and then I decided we would have a little premiere at my farm.
Oh.
I've got a chapel on my farm that'll seat about 100, 110 people, and so far I think about 50 are coming. And so it's just a little private deal. It's not anybody that wants to see this can, 2 days from now, December the 11th, can catch it on Netflix. And I don't know how long things run on Netflix. I don't even subscribe to Netflix.
Sound like it's about an hour.
I've never seen a Netflix production in my life that I know of. But I'm going to have it here by the 11th.
Sound like it's like an hour per episode.
Exactly.
Yeah, your buddy Richard Babbs. I was talking to him recently, and he spoke. He said he was interviewed, and he along those lines. He said he had dealings with Dusty and some of those earlier incidents you referred to in terms. He's a city prosecutor. He had prosecuted him in some of those other incidents you referred to. But he said
Mother prosecuted him as a judge, and then Richard prosecuted him through municipal court.
Yeah. And he said he went out of his way to talk about the positives, about positive aspects of Mississippi. He talked about Faulkner and the fact Faulkner was born.
Yeah. We all did that. I hope that's in the production. But and we didn't have to talk much about it, because after the production company had been here about a month, they were just freaking totally mesmerized by this part of the world. I mean, because they got into it. Now, when I tell you, these weren't come along kind of guys. They knew what they were doing, and they just themselves got into the whole aura of this story, and kept meeting. I mean, they about got to be household terms while they were producing here in Tupelo. I mean, they'd pick their own favorite hotels and restaurants and da-da-da-da-da-da. They spent a ton of money in Tupelo producing this thing, a ton of money.
Did you come to the Capitol with them when they came down to the Capitol?
Bobby, I don't remember. I think so, because I think I'm filmed it. Yeah, I came down with them. Yeah. Sure did, yeah. I think we were in there at night, as a matter of fact. I think that's all their schedule and mine, too, would allow. So I drove down late one afternoon, and we did some filming at night in the Capitol. I had got permission from our state archivist as well as DFA to do that. So I don't know if that'll be in the movie or not, but we'll see. We will see shortly.
It won't be out shortly. Representative Steve Holland, we appreciate you talking to us. You're a treasure to the state in so many ways.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Steve, the Capitol is
really
not the
am
same
just a
without you.
guy that don't understand why all this would take place, but it has, and so we'll see. They called me from the production company a couple of days ago and said, Kurgie Loewens, you're about to be an international star. And I said, I'm almost 70 years old. I don't want to be an international star. And they said, Stufsky Shisky. It's too late.
Yeah, they may be coming back and doing a documentary on you before it's all said and done.
They may do it. You never know. But anyway, well, great talking to you guys, too.
Appreciate it.
You too. Thank you,
have
sir.
Have a happy holiday.
You too. Bye-bye.
As we cover the biggest political stories in the state, you don't want to miss an episode of The Other Side. We'll bring you more reporting from every corner of the state, sharing the voices of Mississippians and how they are impacted by the news. So what do we need from you, the listener? We need your feedback and support. Subscribe to our weekly podcast on your favorite podcast app or stream episodes online at MississippiToday.org/The Other Side. For the Mississippi Today team, I'm Adam Ganeshow. The Other Side is produced by Mississippi Today and engineered by Blue Sky Studios. We hope you'll join us for our next episode.